You are 6 years old, but you weigh more than most grown men. Your limbs swell faster than your dresses can be sewn. In the town square, children scream and point. The priests cross themselves. The doctors mutter one word over and over: beast. And yet, one day, a royal carriage arrives, not to save you, but to parade you to the Spanish court. You are no longer a child. You are a spectacle, a living monster they dress in silk and lace, and display like a caged animal for laughter, whispers, and cruel delight. You are born in the year 1674, in the shadow of the Spanish Empire. In a quiet corner of Burgostad, your mother cries when she holds you, but not from joy. You are large, too large, not just round, but swollen, weighted, bursting with a hunger that feels unnatural. The midwife whispers, "Something isn't right." The priest refuses to bless you right away. He watches your twitching limbs like they might lunge forward. The neighbors don't come to visit. They cross themselves when they pass your home. They speak of punishment, of curses, of monstrous omens. You're only a baby. But already, you are not just a child. You are a warning dot. By the time you are a toddler, you weigh more than a grown man. You cry often, not from pain, but from hunger. The kind of hunger that's constant. That frightens your mother. That empties the pantry before the week ends. You do not understand your body, but everyone else seems obsessed with it. They stop saying your name. They call you La Bestia. The beast dot in that word, beast, will follow you, quietly, into every room for the rest of your life. You're 5 now. Your mother can no longer lift you. Your father no longer looks you in the eyes. You watch other children run barefoot in the fields, laughing, climbing, daring each other to jump. You do not run. You are not invited. When you try, you feel your skin stretch, your breath catches, your joints ache, your stomach turns. Inside the church, you are asked to kneel. But kneeling hurts. The priest scolds you for laziness. God does not make mistakes, he says, but he does test faith. At night, you cry into the straw mattress. Your mother hears you, but says nothing. She is tired of explaining, tired of doctors and herbs and rituals that never work, tired of being the woman who gave birth to that child. You begin to understand something. People don't hate you because you are cruel. They hate you because you do not fit, because your body is an offense, because your presence is a mirror. They don't want to look into dot by 6. You've learned to disappear as best you can. You sit at the window most days, watching the road, sometimes hoping someone will walk by who doesn't flinch, someone who might smile, who might see you, but they never do. You hear their words, even through the glass. That's the demon child. God help her soul. Her parents must have sinned greatly. Your mother teaches you to pray, but she prays with her back to you. Your father teaches you silence, not with words, with distance. The village holds its festivals, its baptisms, its weddings. You are never invited. You are not considered unlucky. You are considered contagious, as if your very presence might bring deformity to other WOMBS dot. And yet, even in this life of ridicule, there are moments. One spring, a traveling tinker comes through town. He sells mirrors, ribbons, lace. He sees you by the window and bows slightly. He doesn't speak, but he bows dot. It is the first time anyone has shown you something like respect. You never see him again, but you remember the moment, the way his eyes didn't flinch, the way he didn't call you monster dot. It was the smallest kindness. And in a life like yours, kindness becomes memory. Memory becomes hope dot. It begins with a letter, thick parchment, red wax, royal seal dot. It arrives like thunder in the small village of Burgos, delivered by men on horseback, dressed in velvet, speaking the king's Castilian tongue, clipped, proper, cold. The crown has heard of a girl, A curiosity, they say. A body unlike any other. An anomaly of flesh. A marvel fit for the king's court. The priest announces the letter aloud in the town square. He calls it an invitation, a blessing, a chance for the family to serve the crown, and perhaps be rewarded. Your parents smile nervously. Behind their eyes, fear. You are 7 years old, and though you don't understand politics, you know what it means when people look through you instead of at you. They don't want you. They want what you represent. A spectacle. A story. A rumor. Made flesh. They wash you the night before you leave. Dress you in new fabric. Comb your hair with fingers that still shake. Your mother cries. But it's not the kind of cry that says goodbye. It's the kind that says forgive me. The road to Madrid is long. You ride in a small wooden cart, not a carriage. A soldier rides. Beside you, not for protection, but for control. Along the way, people gather at crossroads and fields. Word has spread. They don't cheer. They stare. Children giggle. Women whisper. Men cross themselves. One man tries to touch you, to see if she's real. The soldier pushes him back, but only lightly. You begin to realize this isn't a journey to glory. It's a slow unveiling. Your body sways with the motion of the road, but your thoughts are still. What will the king want from me? Will he laugh? The capital approaches like a storm. Stone towers, grand plazas, gold-trimmed gates. The guards at the city walls don't bow. They gawk. You are no longer a village secret. You are now a royal curiosity. The palace is colder than you imagined. Not in temperature, but in sold-out silk tapestries line the walls. Gold glitters in every direction. Perfume hangs in the air like fog. And yet, the moment you step into the throne room, the grandeur dissolves. Because they are all looking at you. Noblemen murmur behind painted fans. The queen tilts her head. The king leans forward. You are introduced not by name, but by title. La Monstrua. The monster. You stand in the middle of the room like an exhibit. You're asked to turn, to walk, to smile. You try, but your dress tightens against your skin. Your hands tremble. Then the artist is summoned, a royal painter. He walks around you slowly, taking mental notes. 2 portraits, he says. 1 clothed, 1 nude. There is no pause. No one questions it. The queen nods. The court nods, as if it's tradition, as if it's nothing. You don't know where to look. So you look at the chandelier, at the ceiling, anywhere but their eyes, because they are not looking at a girl. They are looking at a creature they think they own. The painter's room smells of oil and sweat. Canvases line the walls. Noblemen, generals, queens frozen in immortal stillness. All of them beautiful, powerful. And then, there's you. You sit still as instructed, arms at your sides. You're only 8, but the painter has been ordered to show every curve, every fold, with accuracy. His brush moves with mechanical precision. First comes the clothed portrait. You in a velvet court dress, lace stretching tight across your chest, a red ribbon in your hair, your cheeks powdered pale. You look like a doll, a broken one. But worse is the second, the nude. You don't understand why, only that it's not your choice. They say, for science, for record, for history. The queen visits during the sitting. She coos over the detail. It's extraordinary, she says. The king laughs. Like a Rubens, only more grotesque. You sit still. You try not to breathe. You try not to be. The portrait is not you. It's a caricature wearing your skin. The paintings are unveiled in the gallery. Weeks later, servants lead guests in by candlelight. Courtiers gasp, chuckle, whisper. They call it curious, divine, remarkable. They don't say human. You are asked to stand beside the portraits, a living comparison. Some people smile. Others flinch. One noble woman faints, or pretends to. You feel your hands curl behind your back. You count your breaths. You pretend you're made of wood, like the frame. But you hear it, always. She's lucky. To live at court, the queen must adore her. Adore? No. Are not adored. You are managed. Like an object too rare to throw away, too strange to understand, too valuable to let free. When they clap for the idea of you, not for the girl who still dreams of windows, in the weeks that follow. You become a permanent figure in palace. Life. You are not locked away, but you are never allowed to leave. You're summoned to entertain diplomats. Posed beside flowers and harpsichords. Dressed in increasingly absurd costumes. Once as a goddess, once as a cherub, once as a lion. They giggle when you walk. They applaud when you smile. But they never ask what you feel, because they think the applause is enough. The queen gives you a silver hairbrush. The king calls you his little miracle. A duke offers to sponsor a miniature sculpture. They say you are adored. But you are tired that you start speaking less, smiling less. The servants say you're ungrateful, that you have been given everything. But no one asks, what was taken? Your body was claimed. Your image, distorted. Your life, reduced to pigment and silk and shame. And worst of all, they framed your pain as privilege. You are 12 now, not a child, not yet a woman. Somewhere in between, but trapped in a body they still call unnatural. You are no longer summoned for dinners. The noble guests have moved on to new amusements. A violin prodigy, a foreign dwarf, a boy who speaks 6 languages. Remain in the same chamber. Golden wallpaper peeling slightly now. Your dress is still too tight. Your bones aching more each season. No one tells you you're forbidden to leave. But you understand. The silence does the job. Sometimes the court physician checks in, poking at your joints, asking questions that don't have answers. Do you sleep well? Do you still hunger? Do you feel rage? You lie. You say, no, I feel nothing. But the truth, you feel everything. There's a mirror near the corner of your chamber. At first, you avoided it. Then you began to watch it like a stranger. You stare at your face, your arms, the way your gown splits slightly at the seams. You notice the softness of your hands, the tightness around your ribs. You ask the mirror silent questions. Is this what a curse looks like? If I had been thin, would they have called me beautiful? Would I be free? No one taught you what beauty really means. But you learned what ugliness costs. The court dressed you in silks, not to elevate you, but to decorate their cruelty. They painted you, not for art, but for proof. And now, you are neither art nor person. You are evidence of something broken, that they still do not understand. And they fear what they do not understand. So they isolate it. Sometimes, the servants whisper stories about you. You hear them through the doors, in the kitchens, under candlelight. She was born of sin. She ate a whole cow as a baby. She's half giant. You try to laugh, but it comes out as a sound you don't recognize. Half sob, half bitterness. Because that's the real horror. The lie is easier to believe than the truth. It's easier for them to call you a monster than to admit they used you. Easier to whisper curses than confront complicity. Easier to turn you into a fable than to say your name with dignity. You don't know what comes next. There is no plan for girls like you. No husband, no estate, no escape. You are not imprisoned by walls. You are imprisoned by what they made you represent. You used to dream of being loved. Now you only dream of not being seen. And when you close your eyes at night, there's one thought you can't silence. If I had been born small, would they have let me be human? And then she disappears. There is no funeral recorded. No eulogy spoken in stone halls. No mourning gown worn in court. Just a silence in the archives. A girl erased by the same ink that once summoned her. She was likely no older than her early teens, still a child. But to the court, her usefulness had ended. The joke had run its course. She is buried somewhere, probably in an unmarked grave near the palace walls. No statue, no cross, no candle left burning in her name. And yet, she remains, not in memory, but in image, because the portraits, they did not vanish. They were preserved. Today, if you walk through the Prado Museum in Madrid, she's still there. Her naked form, rendered in oil on canvas, hangs in a chamber filled with kings, saints, and battles. But her portrait is not revered. It's gawked at, not a tribute, a curiosity. Tourists take photos. Children point. Some laugh, confused by her body, by the pose, by the absurdity the painter etched into every brushstroke. Few read the plaque beside it. Fewer still wonder what her name meant. Almost no one asked what she felt, because Eugenia Martínez Vallejo was never allowed to be a person, not in life, and not in history. She was made into a symbol before she ever knew what symbols were. And her body, the one they dressed, paraded, painted, became a permanent mirror of how deeply cruelty can hide behind art, behind science, behind royal favor. There is something deeply cruel about a legacy that does not ask for consent. Eugenia never chose to be remembered. She never posed freely. She never spoke her truth aloud. And yet, she has outlived kings and queens. Her body still hangs on museum walls, still stripped of context, still laughed at. What does it mean to be immortalized for what hurt you most? What does it mean to be reduced to a painting while your name is forgotten? Eugenia is gone, but the myth remains. The monster in silk. The girl too big for her skin. Not the daughter, not the dreamer, not the child who once stood at a window, hoping someone might smile without flinching. Her portrait survived, but she did not. And maybe that's the saddest truth of all. She once sat at a window, waiting to be seen, not as a miracle, not as a monster, but simply as a child. But the world looked through her, not at her. The palace called her divine. The people called her cursed. And the painters called her inspiration. But no one ever called her free. And now, centuries later, Eugenia's body still hangs on a museum wall. Her name is printed in small letters beneath a painting that stole her voice. They remembered her shape, but not her soul. They preserved her image, but erased her humanity. And isn't that how so many girls vanish? In history books that call it fascination, in portraits that turn pain into decoration, in stories that begin with a body and never ask about the girl inside it. If this story stayed with you, even after the screen fades to black, carry her name forward. Say it. Eugenia Martínez Vallejo, because she was more than a spectacle, more than a portrait, more than the myth they made of her. She was a daughter, a girl, a human being. Tell us what you felt in the comments. Subscribe for more untold truths from history's shadows. Share this story so she is remembered not for how she looked, but for what was taken from her. And before you go, ask yourself this: how many others have been framed in history without ever being heard?